Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Hope you'll be fine, enjoying at your homes, but at the same time trying to protect yourselves from the pandemic COVID-19. Today, it's my first lecture for my matric students. General lecture, particularly for class 11 and 12. 11 and 12 students will get benefit out of this. I'll talk about kinds of sentence. What a sentence is, what are the requirements of a sentence, how we are free to change sentences from simple to compound and compound to complex or simple to complex. In this lecture, I'll be talking about all these things. First, let me talk about sentence. Sentence. Till now, you are well aware of the sentence, knowing that it's the group of words. No doubt it is. But that does not mean only a group can make a sentence. Even a single word can make a sentence. Single word. Remember that. A single word can make a sentence. But that single word must be a verb. So by this statement, you must feel the importance of that word, which I say make a sentence. Look, when it's group, in a group, we have subject plus predicate. Subject plus predicate. Got it? Subject. Remember it. When it comes to the subject of a sentence, subject can be noun. Yes, it can be a noun, any kind of a noun that you might have read in parts of speech. Noun, when it comes to my family, my grandma family, this noun is the father there. So subject can be a noun, any noun. It can be common noun, it can be proper noun, it can be material noun, it can be abstract noun. It can be collective noun. Or pronoun. Pronoun. Usually subject pronouns we have I, we, you, he, she, it and they. These pronouns. Even indefinite pronoun can be there. Somebody, nobody, everybody. Those are indefinite pronouns. Pronoun, or it can be a phrase. It can be a phrase. So subject occurs in three things. One is noun, another is pronoun, another is phrase. It can be a noun, it can be a pronoun, it can be a phrase. Then let's move to predicate. This predicate is the most important thing of a sentence when it's a group. Most important. This predicate must contain a finite verb. A finite verb. Then this verb can be followed by an object or may not be followed by an object, or maybe it will be followed by a complement. I'll be talking to that later in my very lecture. Verb. Predicate must contain a verb. A finite verb, I must say. Finite verb. To make a sentence. Finite verb. I'll be telling you what finite verbs are ahead. So, this verb is the most important need of the sentence. When it's followed by an object, I will now write some sentences to make you understand where it follows an object in the predicate, where it does not follow an object in the predicate, where it follows a complement in the predicate, that I'll be talking about in these sentences. Look, I say, I teach English. This is the first sentence on the board for my students, for my learners, for dear learners. I teach English. The very first sentence. Look at this. This is the subject of the sentence, but it's pronoun. This teach is the verb. It's verb here, finite verb which I called earlier. This teach is followed by another word, English. This English is an object. This English is an object. Object. So this, if you are supposed to look at the predicate of the sentence, teach English, it's the predicate. This is the subject. So predicate contains verb and an object. Or I can sometimes say Mr. Shaukat teaches. Look, Mr. Shaukat teaches. Look at the sentence. This Mr. Shaukat, it's noun. This is noun here. Noun. So subjects occur either in pronouns or nouns or phrases. Mr. Shaukat teaches. This teaches is the verb. Verb. But this teaches is not followed by another word. So it stops there only at teaches. But the sentence is complete. We can have an object, we cannot have an object in a sentence. Depends. Then it depends upon the verbs. You may ask me, what is this verb then? And what is this verb then? Here this verb is transitive verb, because it's followed by object. Remember it, transitive and intransitive verbs. They are both action verbs. Action verbs. Yes, please. Action verbs. Transitive and here the sentence, the verb here, the sentence Mr. Shaukat teaches, the verb here is intransitive. This is intransitive here, intransitive. But when it comes to this teach is transitive verb. Transitive verb. It's a transitive verb, it's an intransitive verb. But intransitive and transitive verbs, they are both action verbs. When followed by the objects, they are called transitive. When the action stops at the subject, they are called intransitive. But both are action verbs. Remember, when you are asked about the definition of a verb, usually I have seen most of the people, most of the students, most of teachers even, at times say the words which denote action. No, that's not the complete definition of a verb. Remember it, please. It's not only that denotes action, but you must include three things in a verb. Clear? So verb denotes action. Yes, action that I told you, transitive and intransitive verb, that falls into the action verbs. Verb denotes action, number one. Number two, possession. And number three, state of being. State of being. Yes, these three things must come into the verb. Then you will just know what are the objects, what are the complements, what are all these things. Action. Action verbs are divided into two groups. One is called a transitive verb, another is called an intransitive verb. Transitive verbs are followed by objects. Intransitive verbs, they stop there only at the verbs. And verbs denote three things. They denote action, comes into transitive and intransitive. They denote possession. For example, I say, I have a car. I have a car. This verb have, it's verb, finite verb here, but it shows possession. This verb shows possession here. Now look at this. This car, a car, it is the complement of the sentence. Complement. Yes, remember it please. It's not an object. It's not an object. It's a complement. Yes, it's a complement because it completes the sense of a sentence. If only I'll say I have, the sense remains incomplete. What? Maybe someone will ask me, what do you have? And I don't have an answer. So a car is a complement. So complements are, to the possessive verbs, they follow complements and state of being. For example, I say I am a teacher. I say I am a teacher. Look here, this am is a verb, a teacher is again a complement. Action verbs are of two types, transitive followed by objects. Intransitive, they stop there only, this action stops at the subject only. And then possession, in a possessive case, the verb must follow a complement. And in state of being case, verb must follow a complement. Remember it. But this am, this have, this teach, this teach, they are all finite verbs. Finite verb is the need for a sentence. This finite verb is the need for a sentence. Need for the sentence. Yes, it's finite verb is the need for a sentence. Now look. Possession in possessive cases, in state of being cases, when the verbs are used, we need complements. But when it comes to the action verbs, we don't need even objects, we don't need even subjects at times. That depends upon the kinds of a sentence. I'll please elaborate that. Yes. Hope you are enjoying here my first lecture for class 10 and 11 and 12 students probably. This will help you. So, verbs. Where did I read? Talked about complements. Being. This verb is the need. And when a sentence is used in a single word, for example, I write a sentence go. It's a complete sentence. There is no subject, there is no object, only the predicate part, this predicate part makes a complete sentence. But this sentence is based on verb. And such verb must be an action verb. Yes, it must be an action verb. Yes, I cannot form a sentence on state of being verb. I cannot form a sentence on possessive verb like have. I cannot make it a sentence. I cannot change this am into a sentence alone. But this action verb, they can be changed into a sentence. They can have a complete sentence. And such sentences are called imperative sentences. Remember this. Imperative sentences. Yes, imperative sentences. They are called imperative sentences. So that means that when it comes to a sentence, the need is there, and that need is verb. Verb, yes. Verb is the need of the sentence. It's the backbone of the sentence. In other words, we can say need of the sentence. Same is the case when it comes to sentences. When it comes to sentences, we have three kinds of sentences. Just imagine verb. I'll be just going ahead for finite and non-finite verbs. I'll be explaining them. That will help you. When it comes to the kinds of sentences, we have three kinds of sentences in your syllabus. The very first, that's called simple sentence. Simple sentence. The second, compound sentence. compound sentence, and the third, complex sentence. Complex sentence. These are the three kinds of sentences: simple sentence, compound sentence, and a complex sentence. What is the need of the sentence? Finite verb. I have not yet discussed about the finite verbs. I told you what are the kinds of the verbs when it comes to how you will define a word, verb. Action, transitive, intransitive, then possession, then state of being, possession and state of being cases mein, we must need a complement. But look at the simple sentence. Now look here, please. Subject, predicate that I told you. This is the basics. Subject, predicate, that's why I didn't touch it there. So simple sentence. When it comes to a simple sentence, a sentence is said to be simple when it contains a single finite verb. Look, a single finite verb. Once again, single, very much known to you because you are all probably, and finite verb. Look at the finite verb. What are finite verbs? Somewhere it can be a simple sentence contains a single clause. Yes, single clause. That single clause must contain a single finite verb. Finite verb. Actually, we have verbs when it comes to their conjugation. Yes, please. Conjugation. Conjugation. These verbs are they are divided into four groups, four titles, subtitles. One is called the present, past, past participle, and last one is present participle. Got it? This present, past, past participle, present participle. Participle. Present, past, past participle, present participle. Please. A verb is said to be finite when it agrees with the subject. With the subject. When the verb agrees with its subject. Such verbs are called finite verbs. When the verb agrees with its subject. Yes, agrees. Agrees, I'll make you understand. For example, I say I go. This is the verb, finite verb. This verb agrees here with I. I, first person singular pronoun, but the verb is plural because it's rule. It must be followed by a plural verb. Then I write she goes. She goes. Look at the verb. It underwent a change from go to goes because of I and she. She, third person singular. The verb which agrees, I had to add the verb which agrees, that's goes. This goes is a singular verb. This go is a plural verb. Plural verb agreeing with first person subject, I. This goes singular verb agrees with third person singular subject, he. This verb is called finite verb. Finite verb. Because it agrees with this. Now, you may ask me a question, or you'll be very much surprised that he made this table but didn't touch it yet. It's something different, but look at this. Now I'll go to another one. I'll go to I have gone. Please, she has gone. Look at the two sentences. I have gone. This gone, the past participle form of the verb is the same when I changed the pronoun from I to she. The form of verb is the same, but where I made a change, the change I made in have and has. This have, it agreed with I. This has, it agrees with she. These are called finite verbs. And this gone is it's non-finite verb. So a simple sentence must contain a single finite verb, although it can have a number of non-finite verbs. You are not to count non-finite verbs. You are to look if only there is a single finite verb, a sentence is said to be simple. It may contain, yes, it may contain many non-finite verbs. Thank you very much. Hope you might have enjoyed. I'll just continue this in my next lecture. For more videos, please subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon for latest videos. Thank you very much.